Hi guys, I'm Mark. This is Three Bridges. Welcome back. So this week I've got a week off work, so I'm up in the loft mainly in this episode, getting my DCC and my DCC lines electrified so I can run trains. But the video starts in the garage where I just need to make a couple of jigs so that I can do various radius curves and a template also for measuring up where the curves will go in the loft. Anyway, enjoy. First thing I needed to do was rip another sheet down. So this is my 11mm ply that's going to use to make my baseboards. It's 1.2 by 2.4 or sort of 8 foot by 4 foot. So I needed to finish off the table saw top, so I sort of ripped off a sheet to cover that, and then so this is me just fixing the 11mm ply to the top of my table saw. So my next job is I need to work out where the curves are going to go that feed from Aylesbury into the sort of Wendover board, and so it's got to come around a 90 degrees bend, and I know that with the DMUs that I'll use for Wendover I can probably get away with a sort of second or third radius curve, but obviously for my later builds I'm going to need something like a fourth radius curve, so I decided to make up some templates. Okay, so here you can see I've got a length of I think it's 1mm thick aluminium bar. It's sort of 20mm wide, and I've cut it down to 70 centimeters long, and that'll give me a long enough length to make a sort of measuring tool that will allow me to do first, second, third and fourth radius curves, and I'll show you how I built it. So here I'm just marking out where I want the first, second, third and fourth radius curve holes to go, and then measuring up the a Sharpie marker pen, so I need a 6mm hole to drill through to allow the pen to slot into the bar. So here you can see I've drilled through the hole, and then the other end I've drilled a 3.5mm hole, and then I'm going to tap that so that it will take a 4mm bolt. I won't show you my tapping because I've already tapped much and it was pretty ropey, but it did the job, learning how to tap. So obviously if I had a grinder set up, grinder still sat on the side, I could have sharpened up a bolt quite quickly into a point, but in the end I just got a file out. So I took a fresh sheet of 3mm ply and position the jig in the middle, and then I'm going to mark up the 4 curves. So I'll just pause it there. So what I've done here is C is the centre hole, and then I've just offset it by centimetres, so 35mm to the middle hole, so that's the middle point between each of the radius curves, so that I can draw another line exactly as before. Let's position it over the centre point, pop the pen in and just draw the extra lines. So lastly, as you can see, I've got the 4 templates for my radius curves that I can use to measure out in the loft where to lay the track as I turn the corners. They're looking a little bit rough at the edges, but I'll get the sander out as well later on and just give them a good clean up. Okay, that was it for day 1. Day 2 is to get up in the loft and start working out where I want the track to go, coming from the Aylesbury board to Wendover. That will position up the Wendover feed in, and where I need to make a new part of the baseboard for the track to go from there, and then I'll work down from Wendover down to Amersham. when I was editing this up last night for day one, I realized I probably didn't explain at the very end how I'm going to use the two parts. So anyway, this morning I've just good excuse to get the schlep out and sand off the edges. So I've just run the templates through the sander, smooth off the edges. What I'll do is I'll paint these up a different color so that I know they're not scrap bits of wood, to don't throw them away, and the color will easily tell me which gradient is which. So the metal bar is going to be used to mark up my base sheets when I come to cut them out. Okay, so I use that in the workshop. These will all live in the loft, and then basically I use these to work out roughly where the track should go, and it basically becomes my minimum radius for that point of the layout. So depending on the line that I'm running, I'll choose whether it's the fourth, first, second, or even first radius curve. Okay, and I've got a couple of places in the layout where I need to do a loop back. So again, these will be really handy to work out where the track would go. But more importantly, because I've got so many cross struts in the loft, I don't want to start laying track and then find I'm running into a cross strut. So I can practice and play around with the design with these first. Appreciate everybody does these slightly differently. So I've done the center line is to the radius, but obviously these are just a template for me. So I know some people create the radius curve and then they sort of add on an inch so that it sits one side, and so the track can then effectively line up against the edge of this template. So that you can also use it as a guide to set your track. So the important bit is, as long as I always do it the same way, and as long as I can remember which way around it is, it will work for me. But if you're making your own, or if you've made them previously and you think I've done it wrong, I suspect that's probably the area where I've done it differently to you. Anyway, each to his own. Right, crack on, day two, more to do. So the main part of day two is going to be sorting out the boards to get from Wendover to the Aylesbury board. So Aylesbury board's board one, don't need to worry about that for a long time. So I've just got an old door. I'm using that I'm sat on some cardboard boxes at the moment to hold that. But I need this small section to join in, and what I want to do is have the lines, so as they both start to curve into Aylesbury, I want them to have second radius curves. So I'm going to stagger the way they start and end, but that should work fine. So that's that one all mapped out. So board 4 joins Wendover to the Amersham board. So this one's a little bit more complicated. So I've got a bridge from over there down to here. So obviously at the Wendover end, there's just going to be two lines, the two up and down line from Marylebone coming through, and then obviously they start to split out so that they go over the road bridge. So you've got the new platform 3 line that they put in the 50s, and then obviously the original up and down lines, which are platforms 1 and 2. So this is where I'm gonna, so platform 1 is obviously my DCC underground line, and what I want to be able to do is park a couple of trains just beyond the bridge so that I can hold them there. These will just accommodate 2 carriage trains. Just a couple of the static London Underground models, but it just shows I've got enough length there to fit the 2 sidings in. And if I wanted to run a 4 carriage train, there's enough gap between here and the start of the Emerson station, so I could hold a 4 carriage train in one of the sidings as well. So that's going to work. So got my dimensions, I'll go and cut the boards. Hi, day 3. So finally have a second light, which is good because I can see at this end of the loft now. And as you could have seen, I'll have some power and a train running. A good day, but just, yeah, an awful lot of stuff has ended up in the loft and a number of trips up and down, but yeah, getting there. Morning, day 5. So plan for today is to just focus on the DC line, so my Chiltern line running from Aylesbury to Marylebone. So I just wanted to get the cork down, get the track cut to shape to cover boards 2, 3, 4 and 5, and run the wires, the bus wire underneath for my DC line, and probably do a couple of droppers. So that's the plan. Plenty to get on with. I'll catch you later. I made good progress today, so I managed to get my 2 bus lines in underneath the tracks for my up and down lines for my Chiltern line, and I tested them out. You can see so the last thing I did was I got the cork underlaid down for the back tracks in my up line, and connected all the tracks through, and then just did a quick test. And good news was everything runs smoothly, no problems with electrical connection. Just finishing off for today then, so it was a good day. I've got all the cork down all the way through for the 5 boards, and I've got the track all down. I've not attached the cork or the track yet. I'll pin it roughly as to where I want it to go, and then I'll run some more stock that will be typical of what I'm going to run here, and maybe try some of my older stock as well, just to see if it all runs smoothly. But there's nothing, there's no major curves that should cause any issues. So electrics is all done. I do sort of feel I've now at least got a reasonable length to do stuff with and do the scenicking, and I feel like I actually have a railway in my loft, which is, yeah, 3 months I feel is good progress. This is the bit I don't really want to have to do, is where I then go beam, 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 track along. So I need to set it up so that I've just got a shot for running through a scenic section. For the rest of this week, I'm going to focus on getting the DCC line in, which is obviously platform 1 for Amersham. So I need to put in a couple of meters of track and then connect it up to my DCC electrics, and work out how to remember how to program trains and stuff. That side of it is all completely new to me. I've never done it before, so I had one go once, and I know the controller does work. I got a second-hand Hornby Select controller, so I'll be working on that for the next few days, so I'll update you as I go along. So today's day 6 of my holiday week off. I had to go back to work actually yesterday, day 5, so nothing really happened up in the loft. I had a day off, so I had a lot of thinking about what I was going to do next. So I've got a nice long list of things to get through to do a little bit more to the DC line, to get trains running on both tracks. The 2 controllers, it shouldn't take very long, and then I'll crack on with the DCC underground line, which I'm really excited about, getting those trains running. Also, as you can see, I've been converting over the last DMU set from the plastic wheels to the metal, and painting it all up as well. Originally I was going to do this all as just like one episode for the whole week, but it is getting quite long now for me. And also today I got 101 subscribers, so I think everybody always says this, but yes, amazed. I don't ask people to like or subscribe, because I just think, you all know that's what you do, and you choose to subscribe to channels that you really enjoy. So Thank you very much for all those who have. I hope you still enjoy the content and continue to do so. So what I thought I'd do is I'll upload this first half and then I'll start part 2 and carry on filming, because I've still got a lot more to cover in the next sort of 4 days. So I'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys, as always, and all the support. Really appreciate it. Cheers.